Jason and Jared back on the Best Soccer Show, North American Soccer Network, NASN.TV, NASNradio.com. And I'm going to say this, youtube.com/Best Soccer Show is on the line with us now, world famous KICKTV presenter and from a U.S. International, MLS great, Jimmy Conrad. How are you, Jimmy?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. It's been a long time coming. We've been meaning
really
to do this
has.
for a while. Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't get the invite sooner. I'm kind of upset about that.
No, it's a failure on our part. We take full...
That's because Jimmy's all over the globe at all times.
That's true. You are everywhere.
Okay, you're winning me over. It's good. We're good.
While we let's I don't know, we get so many questions, Jared. Where do you want to start? You want to start MLS? We were talking in the last segment about naive. Let's start there. Naive American players. Jimmy, RSL goes out last night to Arendano. There's a lot of time wasting. This is what Central American teams do. Are American players naive when it comes to this stuff?
I don't necessarily think it's naive. I just think we have a hope of that there's no fairness. You know, that we just at least for me when I played, I think I could speak for my teammate who was out on the field.
Uh-oh. We seem to have a connection problem.
Yeah, they don't have to add anything else to it. It doesn't mean to flair for the dramatic or whatever. If you're the best team on the day, then we'll give you a handshake and a high five and say congrats and good luck. But we expect the same in return. You know, and that even happened at the international level. We would beat Mexico and they wouldn't change jerseys, they wouldn't shake our hands, and you're like, hey man, I mean, you know, all that off the field stuff's off the field stuff, but here we were just better than you tonight. Why can't you acknowledge that?
Because you're not
Jimmy,
supposed to.
Given the way that teams play in CONCACAF and the way the Champions League plays, it's usually kind of down and dirty, a bit like qualifying. I'll be honest with you. In CONCACAF, is Sporting Kansas City's style of play more, I guess, appropriate for CONCACAF Champions League? Is it going to translate better the way they play? They kind of make it messy and they make it dirty and they play really strong, high pressure.
San Jose's in that group too. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think both teams you guys mentioned are both very physical, and they rely on their athleticism to get results. I mean, that's probably the best way to say it, and I think that will serve them well come CONCACAF time. As much as you guys said, we should probably have to play a little bit dirty to match those teams that you're mentioning around CONCACAF and even internationally. I don't know if American fans would want us to do that. I mean, they say that. Yeah. I mean, we got to do what we got to do to get a result, but at the end of the day, I think we pride ourselves on just going out there and kicking ass because we were the best team on the day.
Let's go ahead, Jared. Do you have something?
No, it goes back to my question. One thing we were asking right before you got on the air, Jimmy, is would you rather have a successful CONCACAF team that plays dirtier, or would you rather have a team like RSL who you know plays well but doesn't go down to that level but is out of the competition? I think American fans right now prefer the latter, and I think that's kind of I want to say I think that's naive that they think that we should play the good style, and it's a style that doesn't get you through tournaments.
Yeah, I guess I'm just I want my cake and eat it too. You know, I want RSL to play well, and I want them to do it without having to resort to those kind of tactics. But at the end of the day, I think Kansas City and San Jose lend themselves to going that route if they need to win games and to grind stuff out. And I think, like you guys mentioned, I think they will have success because of their style and because they're not afraid to go toe-to-toe and they're not out for fouls. Excuse me. In fact, they're pretty much committing as many fouls as possible as high up the field. I mean, there's some thought process behind how they pressure the ball. So I'm curious to see how they do next year. It should be very intriguing to watch the whole CONCACAF stuff unfold. Speaking
of dirty teams, if you want to call them that, Omar Gonzalez came out with some pretty harsh criticism of San Jose and the way that they play. I've seen this. It's odd. It's kind of juxtaposed against what Thierry Henry said about Sporting Kansas City recently, where he gave them credit for the way they play. Well, we've heard some criticism of them too. What do you make of Omar's kind of verbal diarrhea on San Jose?
I think he ran into Steven Lenhart. I think I remember feeling the same way when Lenhart was a rookie, and I'd have the ball, and somehow I got punched in the face and elbowed in the chest. And I'm like, how did that even happen? You know. So, I mean, I can understand where he's coming from, but to be honest, for a center back to come out and kind of complain about roughing people up, especially for a guy as big as him, I was a little disappointed. You know, I mean, I like my center back to have a little edge to him, and when you're out there complaining about how a forward's roughing you up, that's not really the kind of guy I like. I think we're very highly of Omar, and I think he should be getting a look in the U.S. team, but I thought those quotes are unfortunate. It could work against him.
Now, Jimmy, you spent some time with Chivas USA, and they've been in the news a bit lately. First of all, it sounds like Frazier's going to be out. Efrain Flores is going to be in from, people may know him from Pachuca and Chivas Guadalajara. But beyond that, there's also talk about Chivas USA with a downtown LA stadium. I live in Southern California, Jimmy. That is not going to happen, right?
It's possible. I mean, when I was there, they were talking about that being the location. I think it was going to be near the Coliseum and going to be right in the heart of it, which obviously would be a great location, but let's be honest, they got to change their name. Yeah. I mean, you can't, they kill 50% of their fan base because 50% of them are Club America fans. So they got 50% of the people in Southern California who, excuse me, I'm sick, who could care less about Chivas USA. And then you got the Chivas Guadalajara fans who are like, I don't know about this team. So now you're down to 30% of the Latino population. And then the other 20 of that 30% are supporting other teams outside of Chivas and Club America. You're down to 10%, and then white people are supporting the guys. So then you got nobody to go for these teams. And then you're Chivas USA, you're trying to encompass the whole nation as opposed to being at least Chivas LA. And they got that ass backwards. And so for me personally, they should become the Raiders of. I think I got into this with somebody on Twitter. They should become the Raiders of MLS. They should adopt the silver and black. They need to get the skull and bones, and they need to be called CDLA. Club Deportivo LA. Get after it. I don't know why this is, but Latinos seem to love the Raiders. So you just play right into that, and you just make a really intimate stadium, and you get those fans to kill any opponents that come in, not literally, but verbally, and you go from there. That's it. I'm done. My spiel. I'm done. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Gotta ask you, what would you be doing if you weren't doing Kick TV right now?
That's a good question. I got an opportunity to become actually the technical director of Chivas USA following the season, and just I could sense turmoil that was happening at the front office level. It just wasn't something I wanted to be associated with. I think they have the potential to be a really big club, but like some of the things I mentioned, they do things backwards, and it doesn't always seem to make sense to anybody in the organization, but the decision seems to be made anyway. So that would have been one option. Maybe an assistant coach in MLS. I don't know if my personality might be too big from setting up cones and cutting down video. Right. So I don't know if that would have been the right fit for me, but ultimately, I've just been kind of doing these other things for my whole life. All I really wanted to do is become a math teacher and a high school coach and call it a day. So at some point, all of this fun stuff that I'm doing is going to end, and then I'll just go back to doing that and raising my kids, and that's that.
Hey, Jimmy, one fun question for you here. People may not know this. You've spent some time at San Diego State before going to UCLA. I'm a San Diego State guy. I went there as well. I want to know, can you name 3 other soccer broadcasters in America that also have a San Diego State affiliation? Big ones. I'm talking Fox Soccer Channel.
Yeah. Rogan Dino, Marcelo Bamboa, Alan Hopkins, and Eric Winalda. That's 4.
Yeah, nice. You got 4. I was only expecting you to get 3. You got all 4.
Look at you, Jared. Jimmy, are YouTube commenters? That's a word, right? Commenters is a word. Yeah. Are they the best? Sure. They're the best, right?
Who's that? San Diego State ones?
YouTube commenters are the best.
Oh, commenters. Oh, YouTube. I missed the first part. Yeah, you know what? They're very honest. I think what's great about YouTube in the digital space in general is you get the power of anonymity. So you can go there and you can call me an American C-word. And honestly, if I'm not called that now, I almost take it personally, like I didn't do my job. So initially I figured like, oh man, but now it's like a badge of honor. So what's interesting about these guys is if they comment on your videos, and then when you go in there and maybe say something, I try to diffuse everything with kill them with kindness or try to make a joke. And then all of a sudden it's like a 180. Like, oh my gosh, you actually said something to me, and then you just know they're a bunch of posers, But from what I understand, I think our demographic is like 12 to 16-year-olds, so I don't try to take it too personal.
Hey, Jimmy, another team you spent some time with, San Jose Earthquakes, look like they could be the odds-on favorite. Obviously, if they go all the way, they'll be the hosts. From your time in San Jose and when playing up in Northern California, what's your take on where they should be playing this final game if they get to host it?
Sorry, I swallowed a bug on that June bug. I actually think it should be Buckshaw. As much as I think that it lacks the professionalism of a true final. And it probably should be played at Stanford Stadium or at the Oakland Coliseum or whatever these stadiums are called with their 15 names. There's something intimate about Buckshot. They did their work and did their business in front of those fans at Buckshot, and I think they should be rewarded for that. And it shouldn't be a money grab where we're looking, to make it bigger, try to sell more tickets, or to make it glossier on TV. That's where they did their business, and that's where the game should be played.
So you're talking about that from a purely fair perspective from San Jose's end, but for the league, I mean, we talk about the growth of the league is always a thing. You can understand Don Garber not wanting to play at a Buckshot, though.
Right. No, I agree. And I know when I went up there, I spoke at one of their foundation events 2 weeks ago. And I killed it. I just want to tell you guys that. And you guys ever want to book me for speeches, I'm awesome. So I got some scoop that it might be at Spartan Stadium, which would be I don't know if that makes any difference. I mean, the field will be narrower,
right.
And for me, it'd be nostalgic, and I'll be at MLS Cup, so it'll be kind of fun for me. But I don't know if that's going to be the right destination either. So I don't know. I think Sanford Stadium's almost too big. Maybe the Oakland Coliseum, but that's, I think, set up better for baseball than it is for soccer. And
yep.
I don't know if there's a winning situation. I do think if they're going to go for it, I played in the USA Japan game at where the Giants play baseball. I don't know the names of these stadiums.
AT&T Park.
But it was a great event. I think they could probably put some stands up behind where the players sit for something like this. But I thought that was a great experience. The fans were way into it. It was really intimate, and we played really well, so that probably helped. But I think in terms of the sightlines and everything, I think it would work really well. So my vote would be for that, but I think the Giants are being assholes about it. So I don't know.
Hey,
No, you're fine.
The first part of our segment, our first part of our show tonight, we kind of talked about Landon Donovan and his comments that came out on ESPN FC this week. I think where Jason and I kind of left it, I want to see if you kind of agree on this. Landon Donovan doesn't owe U.S. soccer much, or its fans much. He's given a lot to them already. But does he owe clarity to the U.S. soccer system, the U.S. soccer program, so they know whether or not to move on or to keep keeping him in their plans?
I don't know if we're there. I don't know if we're at that point yet. I think obviously he's only 30, so he's still got a few good years left in him. But that is if he's motivated to do so. I think a break is something that he said at the end of that interview, and obviously something I've talked to him about. He's been a friend for a long time. Him having some time to reflect about what it would mean to play in the World Cup. This is just me speculating, isn't me giving you the inside skinny. But I think if he had some time to sit down, had 2 months, 2 months off, like every other player in this league, not go to Everton and just do what he wants to do and get out, I think he would find that hunger again and be like, you know what, I got one more in me and I'm going to give everything I have. And then after that, then obviously I think the program can move on. But I think it's a little too early to have to call him out and say, hey, we need you to make a decision right now. If it comes February and we're starting to prepare for the Hex and you're going to need to know if you can count on him or not. I don't know. I mean, that's why we have to have a conversation between those two, because obviously we're going to need him throughout that process, because we need I'm terrible right now. This topic.
You dying?
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, don't cough. So the more we're going to need him through the process, because obviously through the first round of qualifying, we didn't look very good. And having his just wherewithal and knowing how to run, and obviously the chemistry he's built with the core players, is unparalleled. With even Mandzukic, he's done a great job. Still doesn't have that same kind of experience in big games, especially that Landon Donovan has.
It sounds like your voice is going, and you talk for a living, and we don't want to put too much pressure on it. So why don't I
don't
ask
know actually what I do for a living? It's yeah, really.
It's up in the air. Well, you stand in front of a green screen. I know that. What's it like?
He looks pretty. That's what he does. I wish I could look pretty for a living.
What's the toughest?
Yeah, I got no complaints. That's for sure.
What's the toughest part of the green screen thing? Is it just not wearing green every day?
That's part of it. I think initially it was just, we had some notes that we put on like a teleprompter, and it's just making sure you hit those points that you had in your head that you wanted to say, making sure you don't stumble over your words. So, I mean, the outtakes that we have, and sometimes we show them. I mean, I'm just a cussing machine, so it's pretty funny. But I feel like I've gotten better at that process and that part of it, and I think and just getting comfortable in front of the camera, just relaxing and letting it go and going for it. And I think I'll still get better. I can still get better at that, but. That's probably the hardest part. And then just trying to mimic that energy. I mean, we're in the studio like 8 a.m. It's freezing in there. And then trying to act like we're the most excited things ever about, whatever topic we're talking about is sometimes a little hard. But I feel like Ryan and I have built a good rapport. And I actually should pump up my own American Soccer Spectacular show. because your audience is somebody that I'm trying to reach. I'm just trying to get topics out there that people want to know and want to talk about. I think I can get some access to some guys. I got an interview with Sunil set up for, I think, in 2 weeks. And I'm going to talk to him about the Landon Donovan stuff. And obviously, I think the U.S. women's coach will be named at that point, and just his involvement, how far he wants to go, and what he wants to do with his career, and when he's going to pass the reins over to me is pretty much what I ask. So, so I'm really excited about that. So I encourage people, if anything, they want to watch on Kick TV. It's my own American show.
Yeah, watch that show. You had Adam Richmond. We're very jealous. We wanted to have Adam Richmond on this show. We're still going to try to get Adam Richmond on this show. Well,
I'll tell him. He's we're supposed to go kick the ball around here next week. So I'll let him know.
Awesome. Yeah, go check out.
That's what Jimmy Conrad's life is like. He's going to kick the ball around with like food TV stars.
Yeah. It's so great being Jimmy Conrad, I imagine. Thanks very much for the time, Jimmy. Go rest your voice so you can work.
Thanks,
and get that Kick TV. It's getting better all the time. It's fantastic. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
I appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Bye.